What's up, guys? Happy New Year's to everybody. I wanted to talk today a little bit about the next gen consoles and what it means for the future of NASCAR games and 704. I've been telling you guys, if you've watched my past videos, that I do believe that the next gen consoles are around the corner. Within the next 2 years, I do believe they'll be out. And I've been talking about it in terms of the development of NASCAR games in 704 because we are already, I believe, I do think this next game may be the last game of this cycle, of this particular game, which is the NASCAR Heat Series that started with NASCAR Heat Evolution. So now we're 3 games in, and you know, I did put out a wish list video early on, and I do see that now there's other guys talking about what they want to see in NASCAR Heat 4. There's a video by Windvow. I do think that's how his name is pronounced. He has a great channel, really good stuff, and I like watching his stuff because he plays a lot of NASCAR Thunder 2004, which is the greatest NASCAR game still. And it's good to see that game and remember, you know, what that game was like and what good presentation and just a really great game, you know, top to bottom. And most people, I think, point to that game, and this is what we've been asking for from developers. You know, even going back to the days of Eutechnics, I would bring that game up, and I would say, man, just give us a refreshed version of that game, a modernized version. Just follow the recipe to that game, the formula. But I don't, you know, I gotta believe that they know that that's what we want, but for some reason it has to be a conscious decision by them to say we don't want to copy another game, we want to do our own thing. It has to be a conscious choice because it can't be like, oh, they don't know. It's kind of odd because Ed Martin was the head of development for EA for the NASCAR Thunder series in particular. So if anybody understands what makes a great NASCAR game, it should be Ed Martin. And that's always been something that has confused me. So, you know, we'll keep asking, we keep telling them what we want, and it's pretty much what we used to have with NASCAR Thunder 2004. So all we can do is keep pushing, but it's odd to me that it just seems to fall on deaf ears, but who knows. In either case, Windvow made a video, and he talked about, you know, what he wants to see in the next NASCAR game, and I agree with everything he said. It was great stuff. He did mention something that I think I neglected to talk about, which is also important. You know, when I talked about the AI, you know, I definitely want to see them spread out. I want to see them run different lines. I definitely want more dynamic stuff happening where these guys, you know, they don't run perfect lines like on a rail, all stuff like that. But he also talked about, you know, how these cars always pit at the end, like with only a few laps to go, whether it's the end of a stage or the end of a race. And it's just really screws up the race. You know, if it happened periodically, once in a while, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it's bad because the other thing he mentioned, and I always forget to talk about it, but he's absolutely right. It's the tire model. You know, your car's tires wear, but it doesn't seem like the AI's does at all. So you can come out on fresh tires, and they'll stay out on old tires, and you don't really feel like you're better than the AI because of fresh tires. It's like their tires just don't seem to wear. So I think they're sort of modeled that the only thing that affects them is how much fuel they got left. And that's when they pit. Like, I don't know. That definitely needs work, and it sucks because you fight really hard to get up to the top 5, and you're just battling for a whole race, and there's always that late caution, and then you come in for tires, they fucking stay out on really old tires, and you have to restart all the way in 30th or something with only a few laps to go. And even then, you know, you're making passes, but not like you should be on fresh tires. Everybody in front of you is on old tires. It just screws up the whole race. It's fucked up. And, you know, so that's a great point that he made. That it's just something I always forget to talk about. But he's absolutely right. The AI, the tire modeling, all that stuff. But I've already talked about the wish list. And I do hope you guys check out the video. For those of you who haven't, also, you know, send the video if you can to 704. These guys, even if they get tired of hearing the same stuff, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And, you know, if you don't keep complaining, they just, you know. And in all fairness, they have, at many points, surprised us and given us things that we've asked for. Even now, after the release of NASCAR Heat 3, they went back and they gave us the ability to simulate races. That was a big deal to me. It's something people have been asking for, and they were able to do it through a patch. So that was one of the coolest things they've done that I've seen, and it makes a huge difference. There's a lot of races you might not want to run, and now you can simulate. So that's great. But we still want caution replays. We still want, there's so many things that we still don't have. And we're 3 games in. And like I was talking about, the next gen consoles are coming out. At some point, 704 has to start thinking forward. And it's already been revealed that a lot of developers already have developer kits for the PS5. I don't know what Microsoft is doing, but there's also rumors they're already well into development of the next console as well, because they don't want to get caught with their pants down. So I've been telling you guys for a while now that the next gen consoles are coming, and that 704, you know, they got to finalize this series and then get to the next series, which means they're going to have to rebuild everything from scratch. And at that point, you know, they get to choose whatever game engine they're going to use and all that stuff. But here's the thing that concerns me. In terms of NASCAR Heat 4, the next game, whatever they call it, I'm assuming it's NASCAR Heat 4, you know, I want them to give us the things we've been asking for finally, because we've stuck with these guys through these games, right? And there aren't a lot of games that ask you year after year to buy the next game with only the expectation that they're just going to keep piecemealing it and adding one thing or 2 things. And at some point, we want a fully fleshed out product. And as much as I gave credit to these guys, NASCAR Heat 3 is far from a bad game. It has a lot of issues, and it leaves a lot to be desired, but I'm still playing it, which is a testament, because it is fun, it is challenging. It's just all the things that are a negative kind of always show themselves to ruin your experience. The lack of presentation is still horrible. It's like, you know, you're 3 games in and we still don't have a fully fleshed out product. Enough is enough. This next game has to at least feel like a fully fleshed out product, meaning we're not walking away saying still no fucking paint booth or presentation. The stats are still kind of just an afterthought. It should be finally a fully fleshed out product, the way that NASCAR Thunder 2004 was. You didn't walk away from that game saying something's missing, this is missing, that. No, it was a fully fleshed out experience. And that's what made the career mode in that game so great. So that's what we want. And we've been supporting 704 since Evolution, which was a bare bones demo. And then we're just getting like, okay, incremental improvements every year. You can't keep doing that. At some point, people are going to get fed up and walk away. Now, here's the thing. This is where it ties in with the next-gen consoles, right? If you don't give us a fully fleshed out game in 2019, right, which I do believe is going to probably be the last game of this series, then you are going to cause irreparable harm to your future business, because you already have a consumer base that is not as big as others, you know, like people that are into Call of Duty and all these other games. That's a huge fan base, right? So those guys can afford to screw up and make all kinds of mistakes, or just fucking, and they're still going to have a lot of sales because that market is so big. This market is small, and you have the fans that are here are dedicated, right? We love NASCAR. We desperately want good NASCAR games. And if you don't deliver, people are going to get fed up. And what's going to happen is when you go to the next gen, people are going to be like, you never gave us a fully fleshed out game. We bought all of your games. And even though NASCAR Heat 3 does a lot of really good things, it doesn't get across the finish line. It doesn't feel like a fully fleshed out product. If we don't get that now, which like I said, it's the last game, I think, for this generation. It's the only thing that makes sense to me, because at some point you do have to start developing for that next generation. Otherwise, it's going to hurt them, because a lot of people are going to buy these new gen well, I might be a little wrong there, because at least for the PlayStation 5, they've already announced it's going to be backwards compatible, which is great. That means you can go buy that new console, but you could still play PS4 games on it. And I do believe they're going all the way back. I don't know how far, but you'll be able to play games going way back. So you won't lose your library of games, and it's just the initial investment to the next console. But if you do that, and you don't have like a next-gen console ready game, it's just going to hurt you. You know, you're going to lose people. Another thing, why it's important to finish this out. It'll be the 4th game in this series. So it's basically building off the same game. If we still don't have a paint booth, if it doesn't feel fleshed out, no presentation, and you don't fix what's already there in terms of the gameplay, the AI, the physics, the handling, the tire models, that stuff, you gotta finalize everything. And if we don't have what we feel is a fleshed out product, then it's a failure, because we'll say you never gave us a fully fleshed out game, and we stuck with you, and now you're going to the next gen. When you start your new cycle of games, you're going to lose a lot of people, because they're going to say, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to invest and then wait and be expected to wait for years to get a game that's still not fully fleshed out. Fuck that. And people are going to get fed up. And you lost, I'm talking to 704 now, but you lost a lot of people, consumers, after Heat Evolution, because that game was so bare bones and rushed, and it was just it was a glorified demo, and a lot of people walked away, never came back. So even though NASCAR Heat 3 is a pretty decent game, in all honesty, NASCAR Heat 3 really is the type of game that maybe the first game should have been. That would have been acceptable, and then you could have said, okay, you know, we're looking at adding all the other stuff, you know, next. You know, but you really started rock bottom. You can't do that again. So if you come out the box for the next-gen consoles with another NASCAR Heat Evolution type of game, where it's bare bones and it feels like a demo, I guarantee you might as well pack it up, because people are going to walk, because they're going to say, well, we just went through 4 years of NASCAR heat games, and we never got that fully fleshed out game at the end, and now you're asking me to do it again. So that's what I'm looking at this from a management point of view. Like, if I was higher up in 704, I would be addressing that, and I would be saying, look, guys, we got to bring it home. We got to cross the finish line this year. We want people to walk away and not say, why isn't there a replay caution? Why isn't why don't we have a track map? Why don't we have any presentation? Why are the stats still so lackluster? No paint booth. You don't want people saying that. It's gonna kill you. I'm telling you, if you don't finalize this generation of games. And people keep telling you, just give us fucking NASCAR Thunder 2004. Just follow that model. That game does everything right. And it's a shame that 15 years later, we're still begging for that and not getting it. And we have way better technology. These consoles are light years ahead of what... That game came out, it was the PlayStation 2 era. The PS4 is light years ahead of that. So there's no excuse. You should be able to do better in terms of physics, tire model, AI, all that stuff. This game should be jam-packed with content. There's no excuse, man. You guys are focusing on the wrong stuff. Adding all these series. Yeah, it does. Does it make the game better? Yeah, by this much. I haven't played the Dirt series since, after I went through it, I got up to the Cup. I don't go back down and play. I know a lot of people like the Dirt and they're having fun with it, and it's great. You added it, it's in the game, but don't add any more series, man. Focus on the rest of the game and make sure that you finally bring it home. Cross that goal line. And then we can say, okay, you know what? This was well worth the wait. We supported this company. And now we finally have that fully fleshed out game. And now we look forward to the next generation. And then when you start working on the next gen, right? For the love of God, don't give us another Heat Evolution demo type of game. You have to come out the box with a fleshed out game, because people are not going to go through this 4-year run with you. Even if you do give us a fully fleshed out game now, it's just, that's a lot to ask of consumers. And I'm still asking that question, and nobody's been able to answer it. These guys did say they were going to add custom templates as part of the DLC package, and so far, I've checked online. I see a shitload of paint schemes they added. I haven't heard anything about the custom templates, and that was promised as part of that package. So, if anybody knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did release it. Let me know. But that's a huge red flag, man. You cannot do that, and that's the kind of stuff that's frustrating to people. These paint schemes, they're not that fucking important. People want the ability to customize their own cars. That's lacking, man. Even if you didn't give us the paint booth, you said you were going to add a bunch of templates as part of the DLC. And I haven't heard anything. And as far as I know, the DLC's done. There's a shitload of new paint schemes, but nothing else. You got to start focusing on the main game and giving people more for their money. Now, I realize they haven't been selling this game at $60 like everyone else. I'd rather you come out and sell this game for $60, but give us a fully fleshed out game. that DLC stuff does not make the game better. It doesn't matter. So I've given these guys a lot of credit. They've shown a lot of improvement. NASCAR Heat 3 is a decent game. It's a pretty well-rounded game for the most part, but it does have a lot of problems, and it's not a fully fleshed out game. And now I'm saying we stood by you. We've supported your product. Now you have to deliver. You got to bring it home. So I'm looking forward to NASCAR Heat 4, but if I hear that they're talking about another series, it's downhill from there. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear about the stuff people want. And for the love of God, the presentation is... I can't believe that this many games in, there's still practically nothing. I don't know if they know what presentation is, but I've said this... I've been saying this since the Eutechnics era, years ago. I would make these guys play the Thunder series. Even games like the older NBA 2K games, so they can see what the fuck presentation is. Look at the pre-race and post-race and all that stuff. And you could hear the commentating. And you see the stats. You can go back throughout your whole career. And not only your stats, you could see the whole field. Anybody, you could see their stats. It's just fucking... How come they could do this for the PlayStation 2 era and these guys are still scratching their heads? I don't want to get down before we even know what the hell's coming. But, you know, I hope these guys are listening, man. You gotta fucking do whatever it takes and finally give us that fully fleshed out game. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, but, you know, this is it, man. And like I said, I told you guys the next generation consoles were coming. I've been saying this for a while. I said it's going to be in about another two by 2020. And guess what? It's not confirmed, but just look up PS5. There's all kinds of news already. And the rumors are it's going to come out in about a year and maybe a couple of months. So it's in 2020, these consoles are coming. So at some point, these guys are going to have to move on. And, you know, 4 games into this series of games, how much more can you squeeze out of this? Obviously a lot. There's still a lot missing. But, you know, with these next-gen consoles coming, you gotta look forward. And I'm sure they're aware. I'm sure. Who knows? Maybe they're one of the developers who actually have a development kit for the next PlayStation. I don't know. But these things are all things that have to be planned for. And I'm sure they are planning for it, but you can't just half-ass this game coming, because those people are not going to follow you to the next series of games. They're not going to. They're going to walk away. If you have another NASCAR Heat Evolution and then you're expecting people, well, wait till next year and maybe we'll add this. That's not how it works, man. And it's the only series of games that I see that persistently does this. You keep expecting people to just buy the game every year and just get these incremental improvements. And then you want to sell DLC to people. It's just fucking paint schemes, man. You got to focus on the main game and just, you know, finally put that exclamation point on the series. And the potential's there. I've always said it. This is not a bad game that it's turning out to be, but you got to bring it home. Your focus needs to be on the right things that we're all telling you, not just me. If you go check out WinValve's wish list video. He makes great points, and you know, not just him. Other people are doing it as well. So this is it, man. You know, this really is make or break. So what do you guys think? What do you think about what I'm saying? I look forward to your comments. So it's good talking to you guys. You know, Happy New Year's to everybody. And I guess when I'll have something more to talk about, I'll do a video then. So I hope you guys are doing good, and I look forward to your comments.